Hello everyone, and welcome to the tribe of Darkstones. Now, with this, I decided to kind of go the route of this being the clan, or not really, the tribe of cats that came before the clans, kind of thing. So this here, as I said, is the tribe of Darkstones. Now, I will say that this clan has a root in darkness in general. So far there hasn't been too much crazy stuff going on, but I will give warnings in case things do ever get rather dark. So you can avoid them if you like. Anyway, let's get into the introduction of this clan and how they this tribe and how they kind of started. It's going to take me a bit to switch from clan to tribe thinking. Anyway, so the leader, Heather Star, once she rose to power in a little misfit band of cats, she decided to purge the tribe and bring about an era where only the best are part of it. So, in the middle of night, on a full moon, she ventured out into a rather dark wooded area. That's where, and in the center there was a little pool of shimmering water, and when she touched her nose to it, she suddenly got a sight that allowed her to see the spirits around that little pond. And she visited these dark entities a few different times, and they whispered things to her, things that she quite liked to hear. So she decided to strike a deal with them. She will send young cats to them to be tested upon their 6-moon mark, and only the best will be allowed to return. And by only allowing the best to return, it should strengthen the clan. In exchange for helping her build a stronger tribe, they require a sacrifice of a kit from each litter. They will make an exception for litters where there is only one kit. And with this, Heather Star agrees. They give her 9 lives, the first 9 lives any leader has ever gotten. And not only that, but they also instruct her on how to run the tribe, so that it has more structure than just simply being a band of just a few misfit cats. And so that is how the tribe of Darkstones begins. So now we'll dive a little more into the cats and what they were up to their first year in this new little mountainous area. Heather Star starts the year off by sending several cats to the woods as an offering to the Dark Ones to show her loyalty to them. She doesn't tell the cats the purpose of the patrol, just sends them in. In total, she sends 4 cats. Unknown to her, one of the cats managed to escape and fled, starting fresh away from them. After this was done, she couldn't help but feel excited for the future of her little clan. Beyond that, at the start of the year, she fought a large dog to protect her little tribe. She wound up badly injured. While stuck in a camp to recover, she spends time with the kids, which she finds enjoyable, as she has a bit of a soft spot for them. She even had the honor of Tawny Kit coming to her to tell her a little secret. It takes until the year is half over before she's recovered from her injuries. Not a moment later, she announces she's expecting kits with Bone Dawn, who agreed to be her mate a moon earlier. The two had become close rather quickly and figured they might as well not waste any time and simply just become mates. The two end up having a total of 4 kits. With the birth of new kits, it's time for one of them to be selected to give to the Dark Ones. The healer suddenly finds her body to be possessed by an ancient spirit that takes her to Heather Star's side. Moonkit is chosen and taken away. The rest of the year she spends going on romantic little dates with Bone Dawn and thinking of new ways to care for the clan, not seeming to be too bothered by her one kit being taken away. Next up we have the deputy, Bone Dawn. As the deputy, he takes his role very seriously. He's one of the few cats that Heather Star told about the agreement she made with the darkness for their tribe. He supports her and vows to serve the clan as best as he can. Shortly after they get settled, he's focused on getting so many things established that he didn't notice Shade Kit leave camp. Later, when he does realize this and finds the kit, he gives the youngster a scolding the whole way back to camp. He does find himself with a frequent shadow in the form of Weasel Kit. The young Tom is often following him, which Bondon finds cute and grows fond of the kit. He's proud when he comes back as Weasel Paw and tells him that he'll always look out for him. He spends his free time giving extra lessons to the young Tom, just to help him along his journey of becoming a warrior. Outside of that, he's often seen talking to Heatherstar, and it's of no surprise when they eventually announce their mates and having kits. When the kits are born, he is sad about one having to be taken away, but still looks forward to watching the rest grow up. Towards the end of the year, Bondon gets hurt by some falling rocks, which results in him losing half of his tail. He's devastated, but in the end, relents that at least he managed to survive to see another day. Next up we have Weasel Paw. As a kid, he often rushed around without listening to the older cats. He also never really understood that Shade Paw was trying to hurt him with her words. Instead, he thought she just had a strange sense of humor. So, when she died, he grieved her and was the only one to do so. Once he moved past missing Shade Paw, he started to realize how strong of a leader Heatherstar was and admired her for it, and hoped she'd notice him too. He also admired Bondon greatly and would do anything the older Tom requested of him. When it came time for his trial to enter life as an apprentice, he was nervous but determined to make Bondon proud. As a result, the darkness allowed him and his sister Tnie Paw to return. Once they made it back, he told his sister he'd always look out for her. Unfortunately, he was hit with even stronger grief when only a moon later she died as well. After sulking for a while, Bondon eventually managed to coax Weasel Paw back to living life. It was at this point he vowed to look out for his clan as best as he could. It was with this new conviction that when he saw a large dog attempt to attack Bondon, he leapt into action without a second thought. Despite his young age, he put up a huge fight that ultimately drove off the dog. While he had saved his hero's life, he wound up greatly injured and had to be drugged back to camp to get healing. Weasel Paw ends the year trying to heal from his injuries, and finding the new kits annoying as he's dealing with some of the worst pain he's ever had. And now we move on to the kits. So first up we have Snake Kit, who is in the middle of the drawing you're seeing. She was born with a very curious nature. It didn't take long before she was asking questions a mile long. Why do bees buzz? Why do thorns hurt? Could cats learn to fly like birds? It often annoyed others, but she was also sweet enough that they'd never stay annoyed for long. When not asking questions, she'd be rolling around in random spots in the camp or trying to climb a few trees. She'd always get stuck in the trees, however, causing Bondon or Weasel Paw to have to fetch her back down. And next up then after her is Shard Kit, who is on the right. He was a young Tom, born with a nervous yet caring personality. He'd often spend his time checking on his littermates to make sure they were okay. If he wasn't doing that, then he was fretting about them. Bondon and Heatherstar would have to remind him at different points to take a deep breath and relax, and reassure him that everything would be fine. And then lastly, we have Grey Kit. And why he was named Grey Kit, I don't know, considering he's the only orange kit, but whatever. The parents decided they wanted to go with Grey. One of the first things he managed to do as a kid was catch a pesky beetle. Caught up in the moment, he ate it, only to regret it after it really hadn't tasted very good. Beyond catching bugs, he'd often be seen talking to Heatherstar or finding new things to decorate their nest with, which he was always quite proud of. He loved to design their nests. And that is it for the living cats of the tribe. Now we move on to the cats that have died. First up, we have Tpaw, a responsible young she-cat that would often entertain the kits between her duties. It was thanks to her outstanding hunting skills that she was made a warrior at 11 moons old, which was shortly after the group settled in their new home. Unfortunately, she ends up dead pretty much the same moon when she confronts a fox and leads it away before it finally gets her. So there really is not much on her. She just appeared long enough to save the clan of a fox, and that was it. Next is Lpaw. As a kid, he often was a pain to the older cats as he tried to order them around. When the day came for him to be made an apprentice, he boldly struts into the woods for his test, believing that he could take it. However, his overconfidence ended up being his undoing, as the Dark Ones found him unworthy, and he was never seen again. Next up we have Tpaw. She was never known for being particularly kind. The first thing she did at the start of the year was tell Weasel Kit that nobody liked him. As an apprentice, she just continued the streak of whispering mean things to the kids. Some of the cats wondered why the forest would allow her to stay with how cruel she could be. Tpaw never really cared how the others saw her. She simply focused on perfecting battle moves and doing her own thing. She even disappeared for a few days and shrugged off any consequences that were attempted to be placed on her. But in the end, it was due to always going out on her own that one day she had an accident and fell off a cliff to her death. Here is Tnie Paw, Weasel Paw's sister. As a young kit, she would hatch plans to sneak out of camp. Often these amounted to nothing, as she'd get distracted by other things and forget about these plans. She was also a shy kit, and at times wouldn't even eat until her brother, Weasel Paw, would get her something, as she'd be too anxious to get something for herself from the pile. Everyone liked her, though it was hard to get to know her due to how quiet she would be. Also due to this, she admired Heather Star for her confidence and felt like Bone Dawn didn't like her for being too timid in comparison to her brother. So when the time came to become an apprentice, she decided to take the path of the healer, which the Dark Ones allowed without the need of a trial, as every tribe needs a healer. She would get caught up in learning herbs from the voices she'd hear whisper to her, that she never noticed when the leader would glare at her. Not many had confidence in her, which fed into her self-doubt. At the first serious minor injury she'd had to deal with, she froze at the sight of the blood. It was thanks to Weasel Paw giving her some calm reassurance that she managed to push on and heal the other cat at last. There was one moment where she showed bravery as she saved the kits from a snake that managed to get into camp. She wound up bit in the process, but survived. So it was an even bigger blow when right after she caught green cough and died just a few weeks later from that. And lastly, there is Little Moon Kit. There really is nothing to say about this one. It just didn't live long enough for life to really happen. It was born, and a moment later, taken away. The process of this, the choosing of the kits, is that the Dark Ones, one of the ancient spirits, would come to the healer and possess them for a brief moment to go to the nursery and look at the kits. From there would select one and deliver it into the woods. Once the kit would be delivered, the healer would be sent back without any real memory of what just happened. But yeah, that's about how the process goes, and that's poor Little Moon Kit just didn't get to live life. So that brings us to the end of year 1 for the tribe of Darkstones. I know I said clan a lot. Like I said, it's a habit. So excuse that. I do mean tribe. This is a tribe, and I will get it through my head eventually, I hope, and say that instead of clan all the time. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed, and that you'll be back for year 2, which I have already played through, so I know some of the stuff that's coming, and it's gonna be interesting. Honestly, I was really concerned for a while that the tribe would die off really fast, because there's so few living cats, but they persevere, they managed to make it, so I mean, of course there's deaths. I feel like this clan is going to be plagued by deaths all the time. It kind of goes with the whole, trial thing that Heather Starr got started. But anyway, I hope to see you guys next time, and let me know what you think of this little tribe and how things are going, and who your favorite cat is so far. I know I certainly have a favorite. But that's also because I've played through a bit further than the first year. But I will leave that as a surprise and wait to hear from you guys on who your favorite is. So until next time, bye!